any Ogryn worth their rations knows that if you want a good life, or at least one better than what the docks and forges of Tenebrum Octavius have to offer, then you need to go to Big Groggo's. Big Groggo's Academy of the Benevolent Fist was founded sometime between M36 and M41, though the exact date is unclear due to the incomprehensible handwriting and spelling of what passes for the organization's own records. Certainly, the citizens of Tenebrum Octavius insist that it has always been there, whilst the Ogryn themselves argue that Big Groggo's has been part of their community for more years than anyone can count. Considering the inability of most Ogryn to count past 6, this is not surprising. Regardless, the Academy provides a key service in teaching its Titanic students the ways of polite society and making themselves useful to the modern Imperium. The Academy itself is staffed by a mix of human and abhuman scribes and administrators, as well as many former students that now fill the role of instructors. A standard 3-year course at Big Groggo's is said to turn even the surliest, meanest and dimmest of Ogryn into compliant citizens and effective soldiers capable of understanding concepts as nebulous as proper hygiene and personal space. Its many classes include, but are not limited to, speaking without yelling, eating without causing a scene, what a metaphor is and why it can't hurt you, the Emperor and you, prayer for beginners, sticks and stones and breaking bones, clear in body, clean in soul, how to talk right good, deep thinking and the dangers therein, Zen and the art of entering small spaces, the way of the open fist and the closed palm, and advanced culinary skills with head chef Tookfoot. Although the precise history of the Academy is unknown, the legend of Big Groggo himself is a popular one aboard the station. It was said that he was a star of a bowhead, bright enough to direct an entire platoon of Ogryn in battle and possessing the kind of tactical acumen usually reserved for Imperial Guard officers of middling ability or particularly cunning orcs. After saving the life of a planetary governor, the station master of Tenebrum Octavius, or possibly an Imperial saint, stories differ, Big Groggo was granted leave from the Guard to establish an organization to, quote-unquote, bring up others of my standard of tactical genius and societish thinking. Since those halcyon days, Big Groggo's has continued to find unrivaled success in turning out the best-behaved Ogryn in Subsector Titus. To graduate with a certified smiley face is considered the minimal requirement for an Ogryn to gain good employment, whilst a thumbs up indicates a particularly skilled individual who is sure to go far. The vaunted Golden Star marks an Ogryn as one of superb ability who will go on to do great deeds and may one day even receive boned augmetics, as Big Groggo himself did. As perhaps the most widely recognized use the Imperium has for disciplined and loyal Ogryn, many graduates of Big Groggo's are encouraged to enter armed service. Whether under the auspices of Astra Militarum, through a company-free guild armsman in the extremely competitive mercenary markets of Tenebrum Octavius, or contracted directly to a private employer, many proud Ogryn go on to deliver the Emperor's mercy through the barrel of a Ripper gun. Crusader Group 742 maintains a perpetually large contingent of them thanks to its extensive presence on Tenebrum Octavius, offering one of the best career paths for a fresh-faced Ogryn youth with acceptable results. Likewise, the Tenebrum Irregulars are also a popular destination, with whole graduating classes of Ogryn being hired on by the enigmatic Guildmaster Tertius Lacrosse, the head of the station's Office of Acquisitions. Thanks to this, the alumni of Big Groggo's can be found in some of the strangest reaches of the subsector, joining the eclectic assortment of individuals that work to forward the interests of the Lacrosse family guild. These groups of fighting Ogryn will often be accompanied by squads of retainers, or buddies as the Ogryn themselves tend to call them. These are typically baseline humans or ratlings, specialists trained by the Academy, who help the Ogryn to navigate their newfound military lives. They perform a wide variety of tasks, from reminding the Ogryn of their schedules and helping them to fill out Munitorum requisition forms, all the way to reloading weapons during a firefight, passing on orders in the heat of battle, and helping to coax their charges into transports with the use of an Academy-approved nightlight. This network of helpers is a key part of why the Ogryn of Big Groggo's tend to outperform many of their counterparts, displaying an impressive level of tactical acumen and battlefield coordination even without the direct support of a commissar. However, the bonds they form with their charges are strong, and if a body is killed in action, many Ogryn find themselves either paralyzed by guilt or filled with an indiscriminate rage that is a danger to both friend and foe. Likewise, if a body suspects that their charges are being abused, mistreated, or put at undue risk, they are entirely willing to encourage disobedience and small acts of rebellion. As much as they are a supremely effective asset, any officer with a group of these Ogryn under their command would do well to ensure that their retainers are kept safe and that the Ogryn themselves are treated well. When the Cicatrix Maledictum tore through the galaxy and reduced the already messy patchwork of civilization that was subsecta Titus to the lunatic morass it is today, Big Groggo's Academy was not spared. The outbreak of a demonically virulent plague within Tenebrum Octavis hit the Ogryn population hard, and their woes were worsened by a slew of violent pogroms carried out by the more xenophobic members of the local population, taking advantage of the ensuing panic. When the station was attacked by a vast pirate fleet, the remaining students and staff of Big Groggo's stood their ground and sought to defend their homes, doing their duty to their fellows and following Big Groggo's legendary example by, quote-unquote, protecting the little ones. The Ogryn did just that, and tales still abound of their heroism in the face of the enemy, their improvised weapons and titanic fists proving just as deadly as any autogun or boarding hatchet. It is said that, as the station fell into chaos and madness, with marauders rampaging through the streets, Xenos stalking the dark corners, and the authorities utterly crippled from within, the best sight a stationer could see was the sturdy form of an Ogryn barring the way to their refuge. However, for all their heroism, it is undeniable that these stalwart defenders suffered greatly during the fighting, their already diminished numbers ground all the further down by conflict and tragedy. By the time Tertius Lacrosse and the Tenebrum Irregulars returned to drive back the pirates, the Ogryn in their ranks found that their beloved academy was now a blooded, broken shell of what it had once been. As the shattered armies of Crusader Group 742 limped back with a scant few other survivors, and the station itself prepared to flee the subsector, the Ogryn of Tenebrum Octavis found that there were precious few of them left indeed. And yet, in the perilous years that have followed the station's departure from Segmentum Obscurus, the Academy has not died, as many expected. The influx of refugees from the armies and fleets onto Tenebrum Octavis did bring a small boost to the station's subhuman population, helping to fill the painful gaps in the society and repopulating the ruined habs. Even now, within the heart of an ailing station anchored in the desolation of the Damocles Gulf, it is said that a shoddily rebuilt academy has kept its doors open, taking in the newest generation of Ogryn youths and issuing smiling faces, upturned thumbs, and gleaming stars to those who have earned them, all in the name of old Big Groggo.